Hey everyone, this is Lee again at Griffith Small Animal Hospital. Here today just to give you some pointers and show you how to syringe feed a cat. I'm going with a cat today, but this also works on a dog. What you'll need to get started is a can of food. We use the Royal Canin recovery formula. We sort of describe it as a baby food for cats and dogs. It has a really smooth consistency, so it's easy to get in and out of the syringe. You can also use baby food. You can also use the Science Diet AD or any diet that your vet recommends that you syringe feed. You can always put it in a blender with some water, get it to a good consistency that'll go through the syringe. But for today, we're just going to use the recovery because it's easy. It's what we have. You're also going to need a syringe. Your vet will suggest how much you need to do at a time. I'm just going to use a 6 ml syringe today because it's easy. Sometimes the larger syringes, if you have smaller hands, get difficult to fill and hold and depress the plunger. So a lot of times I'll use a smaller syringe and then go back and fill it up to get to the amount that's recommended. I also have a tongue depressor today. It's actually what I'm going to use to fill the syringe with food. You can use a spoon, you can use a butter knife, anything that you find easy, a popsicle stick, anything that you find easy to help load the syringe with food. And then I also have a little hand towel that I'm going to wrap Buddha in, who's our model for the day. I'm going to wrap Buddha in a little hand towel just to keep from getting food down his chest. So what you want to do to begin is go ahead, and if you have a new can of food that hasn't been refrigerated, the consistency is going to be a lot better. Once it gets in the fridge, it gets a little harder and more compact, and you may have to add a little water to get it to a consistency that you like, or put it in the microwave for just 5 to 10 seconds. Just make sure it doesn't get too hot in the microwave. It doesn't take that long at all. But since we have a new can, it's going to make things a little bit easier today. Go ahead and open your can of food. And then open your syringe. And you can load the syringe one of two ways. Like I said, if you have warm food that's a softer consistency, you can just stick the tip of the syringe into the food like this and pull back, and it will pull food into the syringe. The other way to do it is to actually take the plunger out. You can pull that plunger all the way out, take your popsicle stick or spoon or whatever you're going to use, and just load it in through the back like that. And you just keep loading. You don't want to fill it all the way because you are going to have to put the plunger back in it, and then you'll have food come out. It can be a little bit messy doing it this way, so just be prepared to kind of make a little bit of a mess. And then just take your plunger and put it back in gently. And then just push the food up to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling my syringe. And then if you need to, if you see that you have some air in there and you can fit more food in there, all you have to do is hold it by the base of the plunger. Don't hold the syringe. Hold the plunger and tap it on the table just a few times, and it'll cause all the food to sort of compact down, and you'll be able to get more in there. And then just press the air out of it. And it looks like we're pretty full at this point at 6 mils. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do too, I'll have a paper towel. I don't have one right now, but I'll have a paper towel just to wipe off the syringe before I get started, because it can get messy, and if it gets on your hands, it's going to get on the cat, and then it just becomes sort of really messy at that point. So I usually keep a paper towel too to either wipe off my hands or the syringe. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe the syringe off. I'm going to grab Buddha, and then I'll be right back and we'll start feeding. Okay, we're back now. This is actually Dr. Miner's cat, Buddha. She's letting us borrow him for the day to show you how to syringe feed. He's a pretty good cat, so hopefully he'll let us do this without too much of a fuss. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap my towel sort of around his front like a bib, and you can even take a clothespin and pin it in the back to help hold it there while you're feeding. And then with the syringe, I'm just going to sort of come to the corner of his mouth and depress the syringe just maybe a half a cc at a time, and give him a chance to swallow, and then give him more. So we'll just get started. I'm going to wrap this towel around him, and hopefully it'll just keep any mess from going down his chest. Uh-oh, Buddha. And then all you have to do is just take their head in your hand. See if he'll let me do this here. And just take the syringe into the corner of their mouth, like this, and just put a little bit of food in there, and just give them a chance to swallow. And we'll just keep doing that until he's had the recommended amount. Now, if they tend to get stressed while you're doing it, you can always stop, give them a break, and then start again. Sometimes you'll see that in the beginning they'll be swallowing it and they'll be more amenable to taking the food. And towards the end of your amount, if it's a larger amount, you'll see them start to spit it out and not want to swallow it. That might be a good time to take a break. If you're having trouble, if they don't seem to want to swallow it at all, the other thing you can do is once you put it in their mouth, so I'm going to put it in the corner of his mouth, and then you can kind of hold their mouth shut a little bit and hope that they take some of it down. Okay, you'll notice I have Brian here. He's another technician here at Griffith, and he's going to show me how to do a two-man syringe feed. So if you do have a cat that's getting a little bit grumpy or doesn't like to be syringe fed, Buddha's kind of been growling at us, but he's been pretty good so far. But if you need help, this is how another person can help you. They can just make a little kitty burrito, like we like to call it, with the towel, with the bib, and hold it, and then they can sort of steady the head and also hold down these front paws as well, because sometimes they'll try to come up and grab your hand and the syringe out of the way. So with Brian holding now, I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to take Buddha's head in my hand, and I'm still going to go in the corner of his mouth and give him a bite of food that way. And that's just another way. And a lot of times they will talk to you while you're doing it. If you need another hand, that's just a good rule of thumb to have your holders. Brian is sort of holding the front paws down under this towel. So that's always a good thing to do. And then just put the towel down and just kind of go from there. And just go slowly. It doesn't need to be fast. And if you miss, just have your paper towel, and you can wipe your syringe off on the paper towel as you need to, and try again. And a lot of times it's easier to do multiple small meals during the day instead of feeding a large amount at one time, where they might get, their stomach might get upset, they might get nauseous, they'll get tired of being syringe fed. So it's a lot of times it's easier to just do 6 or 12 cc's at a time. Alright, Buddha and I are going to go now, and Brian as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.